Welcome everyone to Conversations. We are excited to be able to bring you the show today, and it would not be possible if it were not for the shepherd of this house, Pastor Tony Smith. So we just want to take the time now to say thank you, Pastor Tony, for all that you do and for allowing us to be on this platform and to come before you today and talk amongst ourselves and to be able to bring you this broadcast. Now, we have a great show as always. Today we are going to be talking about our youth. As you know, we have a youth that is very vocal, and they can sometimes be very silent. So the Bible says I once was old, but once was young, but now I'm old. So we are not youth on here, but we are going to be talking about, speak for myself, right? But we're going to be talking about our youth. And the show topic today is very serious. It's called The Danger of Silence Among Our Young People. Tell me, ladies, how dangerous is it when we have some youth that are so outspoken and so loud, and this is what I want to do, and then all of a sudden, our youth get quiet and silent? How dangerous is that?
I'll start because I don't have any young people, but I do. I don't have any that I birthed, but I have grandchildren. And my little grandson, Nick, he's quiet all the time. He does not express himself. And his father tells him all the time, you can talk to me about anything. He said, I'm your dad. You can talk to me about anything. And sometimes he is so sad looking until I know he get tired of me asking him. I'll be like, Nick, what's wrong? Because he doesn't say anything. He just plays his game. He doesn't talk. Now, if some news come on, he talks. He's a news person for being young. He watches the news, and he'll come and say, Nan, this about news. But to express himself, to say what's going on inside of him, he's not going to do it. You got to almost drag it out of him. And I noticed that a lot of my grandchildren and my great-grands, they are like that. But it's real dangerous because they holding in stuff that they need to express. We get our feelings out as adults, but young people, some of them are scared to get them out. They're scared what's going to happen. They're afraid, rather, of what you're going to say, why you saying that, or what, whatever. But I think it's real dangerous for a young person, even in school. Let us know what's going on in school. Let us know what's going on when you walk to the store, even though Nick doesn't walk to the store. But let us know what's happening when you're out of our company, even playing football. I need to know what those coaches doing, what they're saying to you. And he won't respond. Even if you walk up to him in church and you see him, you say, hey, Nick, he say, hey. And that's it. He's not, if you ask him something, it's a short answer.
I think that in a social media age or in a generation where social media, texting, instant message, all those different avenues of communication, I think it's prevented young people from having in-person verbal conversation. And I have sometimes been successful with young people by saying, text me. Because sometimes to articulate verbally how they feel, they can't, because all of their communication is in their phone, in their iPad, in their comments. So sometimes I think that in order, in order to get a young person to express themselves, sometimes you actually have to meet them at their level of conversation. Maybe if you write it down, maybe if you send me a text, and sometimes you'll find that they'll open up more that way than having that face-to-face conversation.
I think also with it, more so with younger children, but as they get older too, this could be appropriate. But I think sometimes youth don't have the words to verbalize how they feel. So it comes out in forms of behavior or acting out tantrums, things like that. So I think that it's on the older people in their lives to model what they expect from them, to let them know that expressing their emotions is fine, that this is a safe place. Or even if the child don't know what exactly they're feeling, to be like, I think a bit of exposure is helpful because it normalizes the situation to say, okay, well, this person went through it, or my mom or my uncle, they went through it too. Like, I'm not the only one who is experiencing this, and I can talk to you because I trust you. You know where I'm coming from. I think also another idea is to say how you would probably feel in a situation like, wow, you just went through that, like that would have made me angry. Like, how do you feel? Like putting a word or an emotion to it to help the child to be more expressive, because they may not have the words or the verbiage to come out and say what they're feeling.
I think a child being quiet, I do believe it's dangerous, but you know, life teaches you a lot. I have an adult child, and we put my son in counseling because, and there's nothing wrong with counseling, because there are certain things that he would not discuss with me that he would discuss with his dad, and there are certain things he would discuss with his dad that he didn't want to discuss with me, and then it came a time he didn't discuss anything between either one of us. So I think you're right. Children don't really know how to express what they feel inside. So what we did was went to the next level, because counseling really does help our children. And I think a lot of people look at it like, oh no, you're not being a right parent, you're not doing this right, or whatever. And I always say parents are not birthed with a manual. We can't, you know, say, okay, my child isn't speaking today, so this is what we're going to go over or whatever. And sometimes that child needs a stranger to talk to them, you know, because as a parent and as a father, they may not feel comfortable expressing exactly what's going on. So there's nothing wrong with counseling, but I do believe when it gets to the point where your child is not speaking or having no type of communication, you as a parent, it's your responsibility to find a way for them to get it out.
If in my instance, if I feel like if they stop speaking, I want to know who they're speaking to now, because they may be speaking, but now who has your ear? Who are you unburdening yourself to? Like, what kind of advice are they giving you? Who are you around now? All of a sudden you can't come to us, your family, and you felt comfortable about, like, what change happened now? You may feel shame or whatever. Somebody's gotten in your ear where you don't want to talk to your family anymore.
I think it's important also to establish, all of us have our own individual personalities. I relate to my nephews and my nieces differently than I relate to my children. But the point that I make is, it's important to establish a form of a bond or a relationship with them so that they can look upon you as a safe place. Everything that people tell me, I don't tell to everybody else.
Right.
So they need to feel comfortable with the fact that if they say, I got something on my mind. I found it happen. I was not a counselor. Right. During my teaching career. I taught, but I was not a counselor. But the thing that I would always try to make important to the kids was that it was okay. Now, as long as they were being respectful and we were mutually respecting each other, then it was okay if they didn't want to go to lunch and they'd rather try to sit out in my office. I knew when to send some to lunch and when I let some sit in my office. Because what it did was it helped to establish a level of trust with them, so that a lot of those kids came with all kinds of stuff going on, even before they hit the doors of the school. So if it was something that they just needed to have an opportunity to be a little sounding board for them, so that they could share what was a problem for them or concern for them, I just wanted them to know that it was okay and it was safe to share it with me. Now, if because of my training, if I realized that this was something that really needed to be directed to a more professional person, I had enough sense to know that I needed to do that. But I also knew that I didn't need to go running down to the administration and tell them everything that kids said to me. But the idea is to establish a level of trust. I have a younger granddaughter. She loves that tablet and all, and her daddy's phone and stuff like that. So I have to really struggle just to kind of get her ear sometimes. But what I do is, she has these little games, and I don't know diddly about those games. But I sit down there and I want to, show me how you do this. Or why did you do that? Or you've been so aggressive. You know, we just jostling back and forth and playing and everything. But I love it when in the midst of that playing, she'll take her head and she'll lay it on my shoulder while she's playing it so Grammy can look and see what we're doing, and then she's ready to show me a few things. But the idea is that my purpose is to establish a level of trust with her so that, you know, even when she's having difficult times and difficult stuff going on, she's okay with sharing it with Grammy. Or say, Grammy, maybe can you tell Daddy this? So it's establishing that level of trust so that it feels like they can talk to you.
Let me ask y'all this. Why do you think our youth are scared to voice their opinion about how they feel? Brianna, or I think Matrix. Go ahead, Matrix. I haven't heard from you.
I think sometimes because of some kids, me working in the school system, sometimes kids thinking that, you know, oh, we'll judge them, or you know better, you know, you get stern with them and things like that. But, you know, what I found out even in the school system is where though some of the kids, you'll see them looking and they sitting aside looking sad. So I'll go over to them and, you know what I mean, and just trying to see, you know, what the problem is. Either I get to their level, I'll make them laugh first so they can open up. So everything that y'all said on here is absolutely right to get them to open up. And that's the whole key, is getting them to open up. Now, they might not open up right then and there, you know what I mean, but eventually, when they build that trust and that bond towards you, they will begin eventually to open up to you.
I agree. I think that because parents are also their discipline, it's kind of hard to open up and talk to you about sex if I feel like you're going to punish me.
Absolutely.
Okay. It's kind of hard to say, you know, I'm experiencing these feelings about you and Daddy without Daddy and Mommy getting defensive that these are my emotions. Right. So sometimes in life, children and adults are silent to keep peace.
That's true.
They don't express their emotion because you're going to go off the handle, I'm going to be punished, the house going to feel cold, so I'm just going to be quiet. In society, I think that people are quiet because, I go back to the social media age, we have created this council culture. It's almost like that you can speak on social injustice, but if you speak on this, you're canceled. You know, you can't speak on homosexuality, but you can speak on this particular topic. So if your reputation is going to be counseled, if you're not going to be received in school or high school, if you're going to look like the saved Christian girl, then those opinions create a level of silence to just internally, or in my group, these are my emotions, but in bigger, larger public settings, I revert, if that's the correct, you know, way of saying it, to keeping silent about my views, my emotions, my opinions with life, just life, period. So unfortunately, discipline or the response of other people's opinion will cause people to be silent and not vocal.
Backlash.
Yeah.
Is terrible. Yes. Because many of the young people's confidence and the other things that are part of their perception of themselves have been damaged tremendously, because even with all of the use of the social media and the Instagram and all the other ways in which they communicate with themselves, because they're not a lot of times talking to just one person, they're talking to more than one. And when somebody else does not like what they say, then they can send forth damaging things about them. A lot of untruths and things which can be very, very hurtful and damaging for that first person. So I can understand why some may be hesitant to really express what they're truly thinking.
And like someone already said, that young people will talk to outside people before they talk to their family. And I noticed that about counseling, I had my son, I'm not going to say which one because I don't want to put him out there, but I had put him in counseling because he wouldn't open up as a young child. And I would find him in his room and he would be crying, and I would say, what you crying for? You know, he didn't even know what he was crying for, even he just didn't want to tell me. So I started, you know, getting him counseling, then he was able to open up. And then that way I was telling him that anything, whatever you're going through, whatever you're feeling inside, I'm your mother, I'll always be your mother, and you can talk, and I'm not gonna scorn you for it, I'm not gonna beat you. Whatever you thinking, just say it, long as it's not disrespectful. And that's what I told my children, all of them. I told them, whatever you want, whatever you feel, and say it. but don't say it disrespectful.
I think you guys said it on this side, feeling judged. So it could be a move that they made that they knew was a wrong move, that they, was taught to do better. So you're already judging yourself. Like you you already see the damage you did. So you're already judging yourself. And now I can't bring it to mommy or daddy or auntie because now they gonna put more judge on that, and I can't handle it because I'm trying to deal with me reconciling it within myself. So sometimes that'll keep silent too.
And the kids, a lot of peer pressure. They already stressed. We think as parents, like, kids don't be stressed out, but kids get stressed out, and to sit down and just try to get on their level. Sometimes I have small children, so I'm in the 60s, so I can't go to them with my age or my experiences, So I have to come down to their level. So once I get down to their level, then I can understand where, what the problem is or how they feeling. Some kids don't express themselves well. So I turn it into something fun. We'll play a game. So then I'll know something where's those that where they can open up, then you can see where their shortcomings is.
I'm not a parent. I always use that disclaimer. But I think that in my mother's parenting, what she did was she partnered using discernment and prayer the people that could partner with her in parenting me. Because sometimes as a parent, especially if you're single, like Elder Chantal said, we don't come with manuals, When you get the birth certificate, it's not a manual to say, if this happens, please follow these below instructions. So with that being said, sometimes, and maybe your parenting or how you were parented, maybe that wasn't, maybe that wasn't successful for you. So here you are being a parent in a different generation. My mother had me in her close to her 40s, so right now we're in two different generations. So her social issues are not my social issues. So through prayer and discernment, she had to partner with older women or that were still young to say, I don't know what's going on with Bree. Can you talk to her? But those people had to respect that that's still my mother.
Yes.
So give your opinion, make sure that you have the same values, the same morals, the same religion, whatever else is important to you, to partner with those individuals that can take Bree out to lunch and figure out what's going with Bree and get her to open up. And it may be counseling, like Elder Chantal said, but if it's not as deep-rooted as that and it's just mommy and Bree can't communicate, we bumping heads, she's maturing, she's going through puberty, whatever the case may be, then I'm trusting someone like Toya or someone in ministry that, again, that in discernment and prayer, that person can lead, guide, and maybe come back to you as a parent. This is what she's feeling, and this is what she communicated to me. I was able to get her to open up. And that partnership sometimes can be successful in learning your children, because back to my point earlier about the discipline or the fear of coming to mommy or coming to daddy.
And when you have multiple children, sometimes some of the kids maybe just want some of your time. You know what I mean? So when you have multiple, you can take that one that you're concerned about and say, you know what, today, man, you're going to do lunch together. Just you and that person, we're going to go do lunch. You and I going to go and do lunch, and we're going to go out. And then when you take them out and stuff, because you're giving them some of that time, you know what I mean? And sometimes we be thinking like, because there's so many, we got our to-do list, we forget about them as well too. And all they want is just some of the love shared with them too.
I want to add to this real quick, and I think Trix hit it on the head. I think a lot of time we don't take the time to figure out what's going on. And spending time with the child is great, but you got to take time to say, what's really going on with you? And I think I just don't feel like dealing with this today. I don't got time for this. I got other stuff I got going on in my life right now, and right now you are not important right now because I got other stuff I got to do, and this is real talk. Okay, it's real talk, and I don't feel like it. I got to go to work. I got to get this child together. I got to get that child together, or I just don't feel like dealing with this, But you got to say to yourself, I got to take the time. How long it takes for my child to open up and tell me what's wrong. That's right. That's how long it's going to take to get a breakthrough. So I just want to just add that into it because it's not about, understand what you say, perfect. You do need to spend time with your children, but at the same time, you can spend time with your children and really not spending time with your children.
Yeah. And now as you talk at me and you didn't talk to me, you done shut me down. That's why I don't explain them to you. That's why I don't come to you because of these things.
Damn, I'm silent. And now I don't want to talk because every time I go to you, you judge me. Every time I go to you, you argue.
Well, when my girlfriend know more than you know,
yes.
Why did you go to her? You couldn't talk. Because these are the reasons why you talk at me and you don't talk to me.
And that's where the danger comes in because now that you're silent, I don't know your behavior. I don't know what you're thinking. And like Minister Rachel said, I don't know who you're talking to. So I've ran you, or I've kind of give you the permission to seek counsel from some other little young girl who don't know what she's doing.
Right.
She don't got to relate in some cases because we can't generalize, but she doesn't know what she's talking about. Or now the rejection of daddy. Now you in some little dirty boy face, trying to get and those things. That's where the danger comes in because now that you're silent, I don't know your emotion, I don't know your feeling, and now I don't know your interactions that are influencing you or giving you counsel that could affect your life, affect your safety, affect your purpose and destiny. So that's where I think when you say what is the danger, is those things cause a reaction of behavior.
And when you don't talk to your child, the street will talk to them.
Come on, Elder Sutton.
The street will talk to them, and they will have them out there doing things that that they're not supposed to do, or they really don't want to do, but you're not talking. This guy on the corner talking. He talking regardless whether it's good or bad. He's talking. Mommy not talking, daddy not talking.
And not only that, like children glorify those type of things. Like they look up to them, they model that behavior because that's something that is appealing to them. That's what they want. So I think that it's really important for the influencers, the parents, the adults in their lives to be like communicate more about why I'm telling you to do something, not you got to do it because I said you have to do it. Like, no, these are the consequences. And even if you messed up, like you can let's try to fix it. You know what I mean? Like I'm somebody you can talk to about it. But I think I'm gonna say Steve's already in school, but children will hide things like everybody was saying because they fear of the consequences, or you have an expectation of them and they feel like they're letting you down. But I feel like if we explain more, and some parents will be like, I don't gotta explain myself, I'm the parent, you know what I mean? It's a power thing, but it's like, what's the risk of doing that? Because then they have to explore and find out the hard way on their own, and then they're hiding it from you because they're gonna get in trouble for it.
So, woo, this is good. This is so true. I'm one of those parents, like, I'd rather you tell me, I tell my kids all the time, like, I'd rather you tell me the truth and look horrible than lie to me, and I got to find out what you're doing behind my back. Just let me know what it is so we can work from what I know. Don't let me work from something that I got to find out from somebody else, or because, now I'm looking to see what you're doing, and now I got my discerning eyes on. I think it was so good that you guys talked about counseling, because in this Christian world, a lot of people don't want to think that counseling is like a bad thing. Like, I'm just going to pray about it. And no, yes, God is going to work it out. Yes, we are praying women, but God has put gifts in people called licensed therapists with all those letters behind their name. LCWS, that
LCSW.
What is it? Come on with it. What is it, boo? Say it.
LCSW.
LCSW, okay? So that, and these people are trained psychologically to listen to our children and to us as well, to say, this is about to be their next move. I was thinking about this, Minister Brianna. Another danger is when a child gets silent, you don't know their next move. You don't know what they plotting, what they thinking, what's about to go down or not down. You know what I'm saying? So this conversation is good. Let me ask this question. We have a few minutes left on the show. How important is it for children to speak up about what they believe in and what they feel, what they are, what they believe in, what they feel comfortable in, and what they want, their power. How important is it for them to do so?
I think it's a part of their personality development, because and it has a lot to do with the people in their lives who are trying to promote them and encourage them to understand that they're special, they're important, they have gifts and talents and things, so that they don't have to really try to imitate the dreams or the goals of people who are in the public eye, the entertainers and everybody else, because you can have a dream yourself according to what it is that you'd like to do and what you find joy and fulfillment in doing. That's why if my granddaughter loves to prance around and be a ballerina or whatever, or if my grandson goes a different way and all like that, I encourage them, because it's a part of how their personification or their expectation of themselves is built, so that then when they'll get to a point where they'll know that when that offer comes, that illegal offer comes to them, they say, no, I don't think that's for me. I got some better plans, and I think that would be too damaging to go down that course. So it's a matter of what's been built into them and encouraging them, positive things, so that when they have to make those crucial decisions, hopefully they'll be better able to make wise ones.
I'm going to say this. I think it's very important for our children to have a voice. And the thing is to have a voice, but have respect with it. And I think a lot of times kids just be coming out, saying what they want to say. And you also got to remember, too, that, our children do grow up. We were children before, and we have to just learn how to, I'm going to give you an open space. I'm going to make it safe for you to say what you want to say, but also as a mother, as a parent, I'm going to teach you how to bring respect to how you feel. Say it in a way that it's received, because you can say something and the way you be popping your lip and all that stuff, it's going to go out the window, right? So I think it's important, but you got to make sure that you are respectful in doing it, because what you don't want is your children to become adults and misuse or direct conversations or have a conversation in a wrong way when it's very disrespectful.
Yeah, and sometimes having a voice is not necessary for you to convince other people of your beliefs and morals. It's just for you to stand on them. Yeah. So I'm not going on a campaign trying to, I'm not saying, no, don't get me wrong, Christianity, you should, try to win souls. But as a young person, maybe you're not there. But as for me, I do love God. I do go to church, and I'm not ashamed about it. Yes, I'm on the dance ministry. Yes, I sing praise and worship, and I sing for the Lord. Yes, I do, and I'm okay with it. I'm not trying to go on a campaign to convince you about me, but I'm just expressing that no, I don't drink, and yes, no, I don't do this, and yes, and not necessarily that you're trying to save the world, but you're just trying to let the world know where you stand.
It's okay to be the example of the light of the world as a young person. It's okay. It's okay not to fit in. It's okay to be the minority when the majority is going the wrong direction. And I think our youth are like, they don't want to post when they're dancing before the Lord and they're doing, poetry or all their gifts on social media, because people are going to be like, what you do? It's easy to post the other thing. So this has been a great conversation. We pray that you have learned a whole lot, even as parents. As they said, there is no book. I wish it was. Chapter 399 is what we're on right now. If there was a book, there's no manual, no instructions. Every day is a learning experience as a parent. But we as parents are learning, and I know even myself, I'm learning to listen more, to understand more, to be more open to understand your kids on every level, because every child is different. And every age level, they go through those changes in that puberty, but they do have to have a voice. They do have to know that they are listened to, that we are listening to them. But at the same time, we're going to be parents. Right? We're going to listen to you, but we're going to tell you, this is the direction that you should go. And I know if you do this, it's going to fail. Why? Because I failed, and I don't want you to fail either. That's really what we want. We want our children to succeed. We want you to have a voice, and we don't want you to be silent. So we want you to be able to talk to someone about your issues or your problems. We pray this show has blessed you. Of course, you can always call our church office, 410-433-8066, if you need prayer or direction. We'll see you next time for more conversations.